Hello and welcome to For Book Lovers Only. My name is Rob Brown, your host, where I interview amazing authors and we talk about their books. Today we have a very special guest. She is an author, a public speaker, an inspirational coach. Please welcome to For Book Lovers Only, Meleny Thomas. Meleny, thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with us.
Thank you, Rob, for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your background. Where are you from? I find it very interesting where you're from.
Very interesting question indeed. I was born in Curacao. My parents are ministers, and my mom was pastoring the church in Curacao. And then we moved to Barbados, and then came to the U.S.
Okay. And tell us, where is Curacao?
So Curacao is actually a small island between Aruba and Bonaire.
Oh.
Right above Venezuela.
Very
it's
nice.
A tiny dot on the map that some maps don't list.
Well, I've never even, to be honest with you, I've never even heard of it
Yes.
before. So that's remarkable.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit more just about you personally.
Okay. Excuse me. So about me, I love people. I love inspiring people and just encouraging people. I find that there's so much negativity in the world, and I don't need to be an addition to the negativity that's going on.
Right.
So what I try to do is emulate positivity and inspiration everywhere that I go and through everyone that I meet. So I'm all about just inspiring, giving people an encouraging word, lifting their spirits, making them smile. I tell people a weird goal of mine is to make someone smile each day.
That's a good goal. That's a good goal. Now, where does that come from? Have you always been like that, or just?
Not always. Well, actually, when I was a little younger, I did not smile too much, and I realized how a negative spirit can be contagious.
I see.
You know, so I realized the power of a smile and how much it can do and how beneficial it is to someone else to just brighten their day when they may be feeling down. So from that realization, I've adopted that goal each day to make someone smile that I don't know.
That's good. That's
Yes.
really good. Now, as a public speaker and an inspirational coach, is that something that you teach the people that come to your seminars, or?
Actually, I do. I do a little bit. I tell them, that first impressions are lasting impressions. And a lot of times some people don't know or realize how their facial expressions can be a deterrent from people trying to connect to them.
Right.
Some people say, well, my face is always, it's just mean, mean looking. I have
Right.
my face very
Right.
serious, so people think that I'm mean, when that's not the case for all people. But I just tell people, just be conscious and make an effort to put a smile on your face, where you go, and it would leave a lasting impression on someone that you meet.
That's great. That's great to teach people that.
Yep.
And you have a book called 101 Truths About You?
Yes, 101 Truths for You.
Truths
Yes.
for You.
Yes.
All right, tell us about that.
So 101 Truths for You was written in 2013. And it came to me one night as I was sleeping. I was awoken, and God just put these truths on my spirit. And a lot of them are truths that, we should be taught as we go through life day
Right.
to day. One of my favorites, the first truth in the book is that we are nothing without God. I'm very spiritual. I love the Lord, and I try to, emulate His light.
Right.
Saying that I'm a Christian is one thing, but how I live my life is another. And that's another reason why I really try to motivate people, because I want them to see Him and not me. I'm His vessel, and that's how I want to be used. So 101 Truths for You is just a book for people who may have been told that they can't do or accomplish something in life. People that they may have some faults that may be hindrances to achieving whatever it is that they want to achieve. But the truths are there to remind them that there is no limits once you allow God and you keep God in it. So this book is really a tool for people just to give them that extra push
Right.
to go out there and do and live their best life.
And how have those 101 truths affected you personally? Did they help you, let's say, overcome some sort of obstacle or reach some sort of goal personally?
Absolutely. One big major goal that I have, I'm still in the process of meeting, is finishing up my PhD, my dissertation. So I'm in school right now at Walden University, where I'm writing my dissertation in the School of Public Policy, with a focus on concentration in nonprofit management and leadership. So with that, I recall in high school a teacher telling me that I will never become a medical doctor. That was my goal and dream and desire from young. I always wanted to be a medical doctor. I used to practice with my teddy bears,
Right.
lining them up. Like, all right, it's time to visit the doctor,
Right.
and I was so ecstatic and enthusiastic about becoming a doctor to help people.
Right.
I've always wanted to help people, and I knew that, I thought that being a doctor, that would be the ideal way to help people.
Right. Exactly.
So with that teacher telling me that, it was a damper in my spirit. And then I recall, different experiences in life where other people have told me, well, you know what, that's a good dream or goal, but how are you going to do it?
Right.
I don't think you can accomplish it. So with me, applying, I finished my master's and applying to do applying for the PhD program, and then I got accepted. All these butterflies came in my stomach, and I'm like, oh God,
Right,
how
it's
am I
actually
going to
happening,
make
right.
it? How am I going to make it? I may not be that medical doctor, I may not become that medical doctor, but I am pursuing that high degree, which that teacher once told me that I could never achieve.
Right.
So,
Right. So do you think this book sort of speaks to those people who have had people in their lives say, hey, you can't do this and you'll never achieve that? Would this book speak directly to them?
absolutely, absolutely. Anyone that has ever had a naysayer in their life, this book will speak to them, and it will give them the courage and that push that they need to go forward.
Right. Right. So just out of curiosity, when I first learned about your book, it said 101 truths. Why 101? Why not 1,000? Why not 50? Why that number?
Very interesting question again. 101, I thought about a class. In college you have English 101 or,
I see.
Math 101 or whatever the case may be. It's an introduction. It's a beginning to something. So this book is the beginning, the guide that God wants for all of us. There are biblical truths in there. There are truths about life.
Right.
There are truths about family and friends, and things that people should be telling us as we're growing up.
Right.
And it could save us a lot of heartache and a lot of pain that we don't have to endure.
Right. Right.
So.
And tell us a little bit about your writing process, because I'm always interested in the unique writing process
Okay.
of the author, because it seems like each one has a different one. Tell us a little bit about your writing process.
So my writing process, it is very unique.
Okay.
I began writing from the age of 12. I started writing poetry. So poetry is my first love. I write everything, and I try to encourage people to just write, because a lot of times everything that I've written down I've accomplished. And I attribute that to, the power of your words and your thoughts. So my writing process, it's really strange. Like sometimes I'm awakened in the night to just write about certain things. In the night is when I get a lot of insight and a lot of ideas. So I get up and I just journal. I have many journals around, or I use my phone, the note on my phone, where I can just jot some stuff down. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need to remember. This is what I need to, pursue further tomorrow. So I just write and jot little stuff down and then go back to it later and revisit it, and then more things will come to me.
I see.
Yep.
And from start to finish, how long was your writing process for 101 Truths?
So from start to finish, like I said, I got these truths one night. I was awakened, and I wrote them out that night. I wrote 100 that night. I wrote 100 that night, and it was just the simple truths, just the phrases. So it's really a book of affirmations that people can go to. So I wrote out the phrases, and I'm like, okay. All right, you know what? Something else needs to go with this. There needs to be something else, another nugget, inspirational nugget, or something that they can go to as they read these truths and claim these truths in their lives. So I'll say the whole process took maybe about 3 months or so to finish.
Right.
3 to 4 months, roughly.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And when you do your public speaking, do you speak directly out of 101 Truths, or do you talk a little bit about that and maybe some other topics?
Well, I talk about other topics too, because I have an organization, an empowerment organization.
Oh yes, tell us about that.
Love International Network. I'm big on acronyms. So LOVE, of course, is an acronym. It stands for Learning to Overcome Various Life Experiences.
Okay.
And I feel like through love, we're able to overcome everything that we've accomplished, or everything that we've gone through in life.
Right.
So the empowerment organization, I have different groups. There are different subsections. So the first thing I have is a Monday motivational newsletter that I started last year, actually.
Interesting.
And, it's just, again, that push to give people that push on that Monday. Because a lot of people hate Mondays. They
Yeah.
hate getting up for Monday
If
morning.
anybody needs inspiration, it's on a Monday.
Yes. So I toss out different nuggets. Some of them are related to, what may be going on in the world today, or just different things that's going on in life. Whatever comes to me, whatever I feel in my spirit, that's what I put out. And from the feedback that I've received, it's very needed, and it's timely too.
Okay.
A lot of people have said, you know what, your topic this week really helped me get through, and it actually spoke to what I was going through.
Right.
So that is confirmation in itself that it's needed, and people need more encouragement. You can never get enough encouragement. So we have the Monday motivational topic. Then I have this program called the Dream Quest Intensive, and it's I'm big on dreams, and I do dream board parties too through the organization. So with the Dream Quest Intensive, what it is, whether they're first-time entrepreneurs or thinking about starting a business or just having a goal or idea or objective in mind, they're like, okay, I don't know what I want to do,
right,
or where I want to go. This intensive program or workshop really helps them brainstorm. And it's a collective, a small group where we're able to share ideas and bounce information back off of each other. So through that workshop, we're able to just gain some insight and next steps, and set the next steps for how we're going to pursue whatever it is that we want to pursue.
I see.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit, what's a Dream Quest party? That's interesting.
Yeah, so the Dream Quest Intensive is the workshop. The Dream Board parties are like vision boards.
Okay.
So I call them dream boards because, like I said earlier before, everything that I've ever accomplished, I've written down.
Right.
So I truly believe in the power of, speaking and putting things into place so that you have a tangible thing that you can look at and say, well, okay, this is what I want. And you can look down years later and say, I accomplished it.
Yeah, I accomplished that.
I accomplished it. So it's just, we use magazines. I usually tie them into a word. So I pick a word. The last dream board party that we did, the word was integrity, that they had to center their board around. So everything that they put on their board had to, they had to explain how it tied into integrity, having integrity in their life and the importance of integrity.
And you just pick a word for each dream board party.
Yes.
Okay. Where did that concept come from? I find that very intriguing. That's pretty original.
I don't know. It was just something that I thought of, and I said, well, okay, let me see how this works. And the concept of vision boards and dream boards have been around for years, but tying them to different words, I think it helps it come together. It helps piece it together, the puzzle. And everything that you do, make sure that it all centers back to that focus, that point that you need to drive. And I deal with a lot of youth, and that's one thing. That last Dream World Party that I had was actually for a lot of youth. So that's one thing that I really want them to understand, that integrity is very important in life, and they need to understand that from a young age.
Right.
And everything that they do, they need to have integrity behind it, and make sure that they can go to bed at night, with a clean heart and a clear spirit, knowing that they didn't cheat anybody, they didn't lie, or they didn't steal or do whatever to accomplish whatever it is that they did that day.
Right, right. And I imagine that the book 101 Truths can speak directly to kids in a special way as well, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, I've had a lot of youth come to me, Miss Meleny, I've really loved the book, and they're like, it really helped me through what it is I was going through, or family issues, or whatever the case may be. So it speaks to youth as well as adults. So it's not necessarily a book just for the young people or just for, some of the more seasoned people. It's for anyone that is willing and open to accepting the truths about life.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. And what other types of books that you maybe have ideas for that you're going to be writing in the future, or do you have any manuscripts in production right now? Or
I actually have co-authored 4 other books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I love writing.
Absolutely, obviously.
I do love writing, and my latest book that I co-authored is actually called Core Prayer, Bringing the Core Back to Business, and I co-authored it with a good friend of mine, Chansey Witcher, and the book, it speaks about the core that is missing from business, and that is what people need to go back to, and that core is Christ. That center is missing from business. We can't expect God to bless things if we're taking him out of it. You know,
Right.
and take, for instance, the courtroom. The Bibles aren't used in the courtroom for anymore for people to swear on. You know, they're taking God out of places and still expecting it to be blessed. While, you know, we need to bring him back and invite him back into our lives and bring him as the core and that center so that we can live a productive life.
Right, right. And yet you said you'd written, co-authored a couple other books as
Yes,
well?
I did another one, the dissertation journey. It's actually with a couple other Walden students
Okay.
and other PhD students, and what it focuses on are just tips for people that are pursuing a higher degree.
Right.
So, and then the other book that I have contributed to is Her Story, His Glory, and that's going to be released. I'm not sure of the exact date, but that'll be released soon. I contributed 3 pieces to that. And the last book is a book of poetry, Poets Against Bullying.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a very intriguing topic, a very
Yes.
important topic in our time as well. Tell us about that.
So with that, I wrote a piece about tragedy and tragedy and triumph, and I talk about, you know, how we need to just go through life, just really not reflecting on our triumphs, on our tragedy, but
tragedy is
reflecting
fine.
on our triumphs.
Right.
You know, how we're able to overcome everything that we go through. And there are a lot of bullies out, whether it's in school, in the workplace, or wherever. There are people, you know, that just try to, I guess, inflict their negative persona on others,
Right.
and it just really you know, a lot of youth are killing themselves now. A lot of people
you
are
hear about
killing
that a
themselves,
lot, yeah.
you know, through that. So the book is really a tool to help people that may be bullied or may have experienced bullying, to just brighten up their day and to let them know that it is not the end and that there is something to live for.
Okay, great.
So,
And if people want to learn a little bit more about 101 Truths for You and want to learn a little bit more about, you know, what you have going on, where would they go?
Okay, so great. They would go to my website, www.melenythomas.com. So that's www.melenythomas.com. To find out more about me, they can purchase my books, they can learn about workshops that I'll be presenting at, or just connect with me because I love talking to people and inspiring them.
Great, great. Meleny, thank you so much for stopping by. We're really excited about 101 Truths for You, and I'm sure the viewers are excited as well. So thanks again, and stop by and see us again.
Thank you.
We want to thank Meleny Thomas for being our special guest today. Please go to www.forbookloversonly.com. You can pick up a copy of her book there. Also, stop by villageconnector.com and join the village. My name is Rob Brown. I've been your host, and this is For Book Lovers Only. And if you love books, we definitely have a home for you. Take care until next time.